Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi ta'ala wa barakatuh. A'udhu billahi minash shaitanir rajim. Bismillahir rahmanir rahim. Let me go ahead and run through my slides. I have a total of close to 30 slides, but I have been told that the time given to us of 30 minutes has been scaled down, so I'll try to do this thing in 20 minutes, inshallah. I'm glad that the two papers before my paper, one spoke on good governance and the other on poverty. I want to take a slightly different route, but very much related, on the alternative sources of wealth in Nigeria. Let's go to this. There are three areas of wealth creation in Nigeria, and these are all real. First is through agriculture, solid minerals, manufactured products, and of course services. As you can see them, and we have ready markets. If you ask yourself, the British colonial masters came to Nigeria not because of our oil, but because of basically some of these commodities that were very prevalent in our economy in the past. But they still do play a role. And when I was Minister of Commerce, I became much fascinated by them. The market access that we have, of course, the European Union for our agricultural products, Japan, China, United States. When I was minister, my counterpart here in this country was Alistair Darling, and we had met several forums, particularly the EPA, the European Partnership Agreement, where the Europeans were trying to access our market without giving us also access to their market for agricultural products. Next. Let me run down for you quickly, as you can see from the slides, that for cocoa, which was one of our main cash crops, as of this time, about 16 states in our federation have cocoa prevalence, and you can see the world production is about 3.6 million metric tons per annum. But out of that, we can only capture about 10% of the market, which is just 832,000 metric tons. The export received last year or so was just less than $1 million. No, it's about less than $1 billion, just about $732 million. Next is cotton, which everyone knows for most parts of the northern region, or almost all parts of the northern region. At one time, we were dependent on cotton, and the production was very much apparent. But surprisingly, there are even some southern states that have cotton potentials. The beauty of cotton is that the chain, it has really the potential of employing a large number in the labor force, from the cotton farmer, pickers, ginners, spinners, etc., etc., and then to the fabric makers, the textile factories. World production is in about 27 million metric tons. We could only regrettably capture 0.59% of that market. And I will tell you later on in my slides why that is so apparent, why we have declined because of the emerging markets of China and India, etc. Go next. Gum Arabic is another very popular and important source of wealth for our people. The world production is 96,000 metric tons. We could capture about 24%. The rest of the percentage is all captured by Sudan, but we are making headway when certain other areas of the country are beginning to massively produce gum Arabic, Katsina in particular. Ginger, when I was Minister of Commerce, one entrepreneur did a whole shipment of ginger which we helped him to ship to China, But because of some of the problems at our ports, you know, it stayed for a while in the container and it's absorbed some lead. So by the time it went to China, of course, they rejected it. But I've been told while writing this paper that now we don't have that problem again, that it has been expedited. But the current production is 166,000 metric tons, when the world is expecting about 1.6 million metric tons. Cassava, which is the golden crop now, is produced in all the states of the Federation, including the Federal Capital Territory. Current production is 36 million metric tons, which mostly we consume for now at home. But the export potentials are immense. Sesame Seeds is another crop that has a lot of potentials, and as of 2011, they only exported about 199,000, just less than $200,000. But I've been told that they were pushing hard, and our farmers are trying to take opportunity of this crop. Shea nut butter is very much in demand, particularly in the Asian countries. One of the mainstays that produces it is, of course, is Niger right now. But you can see we don't add any value to it. You know, when you have those 4 drums of shea butter processed, costing about $25, and you can see the small, by the time it comes to the West or Asia or wherever it is processed, just about 4.9 ounce, or cost about almost $35. So you can see 20 kg is costing only unprocessed $25. So you can see the importance of value addition to some of these crops and the potentials for them to create wealth in our country and beyond. Cashew is another important crop. Like I said, you can see without a whole lot of commentary, just like the previous slides. Poultry, this is also something that is new, but it has a lot of potentials and is playing a major role. The world expects about 50 billion baht. You know, right now, Nigeria's production is just about 113 million baht per annum. And what we went during my time and subsequently, our focus is to target not only the domestic market, but the West African market. Floriculture, believe it or not, some of the areas of our country are very much ripe for the planting and growing of flowers, particularly roses. Plateau State, you know, produces this. You can see that entrepreneurs in this respect have exported a total amount of close to $10 million worth of flowers. For some of you that are interested in trade, you can, if you following the trend now, Ethiopia largely has really established this market of floriculture. And it is a very important market, and some parts of our countries that Plateau, Rivers, Taraba, Lagos are conducive for this crop. We come to the second segment, which is manufactured products. When you go around Africa, you find prevalence of some of our products, in spite of the shortcomings of our industry. But when you go to Central African Republic, Ghana, wherever, Sierra Leone, you find some of our popular products there, and I think we have to leverage on them. As a Muslim, when I was Minister of Commerce, you know, I was approached to buy grease for the importation of alcohol in our beer, because in most European countries, our beer is very popular. And as a Muslim, you know, I'm not supposed to sell or consume or encourage the consumption of alcohol. So I went to my president then, Obasanjo, and told him about my dilemma, and he told me that I should go ahead and do it in his name instead. He said, go ahead, Aliyu, tell them it's Olusegun Obasanjo that is selling them beer as long as Nigeria will make money from it. Vegetable oil, you know, we have this thing, the cliche, whenever we talk about the decline of the northern economy, we say the pyramids have disappeared, the groundnut pyramids, blah, 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 all the time. But we forget that we consume all of it at home now. We don't have to send it to Liverpool or anywhere else again. So actually, it's not that the pyramids have disappeared. It's that the pyramids are going into our stomach back home. Because when the pyramids were built, the population of Nigeria was just about 50, 60 million. People forget that we have really grown extremely, you know, in population, just like General Dambazaw was trying to point out earlier. So the pyramids are there and the local consumption is there. And that is why when we were arguing with the Europeans, particularly, I don't know where he is now, not that Labour is not in government anymore, Peter Mandelson, the European Commissioner, you know, I had a vehement disagreement with him about accessing our market. Because when we argued under the Africa, Caribbean, and Pacific trade agreement with the Europeans, they all are so, you know, aggressive about getting to our market. And I told him that it is not the market of Fiji or Jamaica that you are looking for, or Burkina Faso. You're looking at my market, which has about 150 or so million consumers, potential consumers. So if you have to access my market, you have to allow me also to come into your market. And of course, the Europeans are not bulging because they keep imposing certain conditions on us that we use pesticides, we use, you know, all things that are a little bit archaic, but we said we really also don't expect them to penetrate our market. So vegetable oil. Leather is the second important export earner in the non-oil sector. As you can see, close to $500 million last year. And you can see even at home that some entrepreneurs are trying to do their best in trying to capture this market. Shrimps, this is another glaring area that we have serious potentials, particularly in our waters, but the same way the Americans and the Europeans keep imposing sort of, you know, obstacles. They said that we use the wrong nets. You know, the nets that we use don't allow some of the environmentally threatened species to escape, like the turtles and so. This is a really problem. Pharmaceuticals, in spite, like I said, the problems that we have with our industries, we still are making slight progress in this respect. Rubber, iron and steel, comatose, but a lot of potentials. And then, of course, the latest addition is films and music. The potentials of this, particularly when you go around the world, some of our music and popular culture is something. People are laughing at Ibro, Abi. Okay, this is just a tabular form of what we have been earning from this, and I believe that the organizers of this conference will avail to our people here the slides, maybe like Dr. Fantami said, through the email or so you can study it a little bit more in depth. Value of non-oil export to top 13 destinations from Italy to Vietnam. That's it there. Then our ECOWAS sub-region market and the numbers to 2011. Destination of non-oil, next slide, by economic group. Sector growth trend, 2008 and 2010. Same thing here, exported commodities. unrecorded. Okay, this is also another important thing that, we don't record the informal sector, but it's something that is generating a lot of money for some people. I'm going to use a cliche here, but SWOT analysis. But as most of you in the business schools and environment know, that you have the SWOT means the strength, the weakness, opportunity, and threats. You can see the strength for us to grow this sector or create more wealth is the points I enumerated. Under the weaknesses, you can see the limited commercial farming enterprises, etc. And then the opportunities are there, and of course the threats, high competition from other markets, particularly, like I said, China. When I was minister, I almost ran foul of the Chinese. I have not sought for visa from them. I don't know so my status with them, but I did, like most countries, really see China is a big threat, particularly in some of the sectors like textiles and garments, because there is no way you can compete with the Chinese. When we do our patent, for instance, for the women prints, the Atampa or the Ankara, before the end of the day, somebody will fax the patent from, say, Arewa Textiles to them in Beijing or Shanghai, and they will produce the same type of garment and import it back into Nigeria at a much, much cheaper, half the price that we will sell in our market. So the English or the wax, not the English wax, sells for about 1,200 or 300 naira. The Chinese one costs in the market about 600 naira. And now what is even more worrisome is that the Chinese are going into retail market in Nigeria, and like they are doing in some countries. When you go to the Sabongari market, you find a shop owned by Chinese, and the counterfeiting is just incredible. But I think we have to talk to some countries about unfair competition. There was a slide here that I included, but I think we jumped it, which I thought was or is going to be of interest to you, the remittances of people like you in the diaspora. And I thought, okay, maybe we didn't capture it. Okay, it was in my, okay, right here. This is something that will be of interest to you. I just, before coming here, asked the central banks to give me the figures for home remittances through Western Union and other sources of our professionals in the diaspora. You can see in 2008, you remitted almost $550 million back home. 2009 is interesting, it fell down to $339 million. 2010, it went back up again, $582 million. And then from January to November this year, $566 million. Total in 4 years, close to almost over $2 billion, $2.5 billion. This is a lot of money going back home. But most of it is going to pay for your brother's school fees or the grandma's teeth or something. And I want to say to you through organizations like this that you need to get organized, maybe by flouting or setting up microfinance banks in the name of this forum or other similar forums that are that you can grow wealth and help people, not only through the charity. Because if this money is captured or more, I'm pretty sure it will go a long way in helping people. When the microfinance bank magic, from experience that I had when I was Minister of Commerce, was that I was told that it had zero default from the lenders. And most of the lending is just very minimal. A lady or a woman will come and borrow 10,000 naira, which is just about close to £5 a day, go buy bread, and in the evening she will make a profit of, say, 2,000 naira or so, and return the money back to the bank. And the next morning she will also borrow again. And you have it, you know, in all the sectors. So really, this is something that I think our brothers and sisters in the diaspora can avail themselves to in the economic situation. Thank you very much.
Thank you.